What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker Bushcraft. So matches, they can be a very viable fire starting option for you. I definitely think that they should be in your fire starting arsenal. They do get a bad rap because of low quality ones, but if you buy high quality matches, you'll be good to go. So today what I want to do is I want to just go over the matches and why I think they're somewhat important, and a couple little tricks with these that you need to know when using them. So first is you want to buy a high quality match if you're going to carry a match along with you. You don't want to just buy the strike anywhere type matches. Those things are absolutely horrible. You want to get yourself a good emergency match. Now Yuko, this is Yuko, they make a very good match. This is what we prefer at the school here. But another brand that I've seen coming around recently that I have a little bit of experience with, and I can say that I would recommend them, is the Zippo matches. They come in a very similar case and they work just as well. So either one of those are going to work real well for you. That's what I would stick with. I would stay away from the military surplus Lifeboat matches. Those things, they seem like 1 out of every 10 work, and they're not good. The burn time's not good or anything like that. So get a good high quality match. That's the first thing. The second thing with these matches is that you need to have just a little bit of understanding with some of the components and how to use them properly. First and foremost, okay, they're in a waterproof container, so the matches themselves, they should be good for the most part. They shouldn't get damp or moist or anything like that if everything looks good. If the seal breaks on this, or it's cracked, or you lose this rubber gasket, then you might want to rethink that a little bit, but otherwise you're going to be good, okay? Now on the outside of these containers, both the Zippo and the Yuko, there is the striker, okay? So if you take out your dry match and you're working it against the striker and it seems as if it's not working, okay, you're just wearing away your match itself, well, it might be because the striker got wet or there's moisture on the striker and it's not going to work. You're not going to do anything magically in that moment to make that work. That's why the companies include backup strikers inside, and they're generally sealed in a small plastic bag, okay? So you don't want to get rid of this. Don't put it off the side and think, well, I don't need that. There's a striker here. You do possibly need those strikers, and even if you continuously use this match pack after maybe using 10 or 15 of the 20, I believe there's 25 matches in these, go ahead and replace that thing. It's a little bit of a lifesaver, okay? So that's the first thing. If your match isn't working, it's probably the striker. But before you even get to that, okay, you got to hold the match correctly, and this is a big one that people mess up with and they end up breaking their matches. All of this chemical component that's on the match right here, okay, strengthens the wooden stick itself, okay? But where the weak point is where the wood and all of this component meet. So if I go to strike this holding it low, generally, there, you can see how, I mean, barely any pressure, that happens. It breaks. It either breaks along the wood, or more so, it usually breaks right along where all of that fire starting stuff in the wood is. Now, don't get rid of that match. A lot of people throw it off to the side. Well, you can still stick that in whatever you're lighting, get double match burn time, or be good to go. If it's your last match, you can still use that, okay? But what we're going to look at is how to actually light this thing properly now, and that is where to hold it. Like I just said, you don't want to hold it down on the wood. You want to hold it in that orange section. The match is not going to light so quick that you're going to burn your fingers here. You will have time to move your fingers down and then get in after it. So you want to make sure that when you're lighting this, you're holding the match, okay, in that orange section, or at least closer to the tip until you get that started. All right. Now, last thing with matches is matches give you completed triangle of fire, which is very important in many scenarios. So let's take a little look at that. If we think about something like a ferro rod, okay, a ferro rod is not fire. When I strike that, it's just hot sparks. It's just a heat source. It's not a completed triangle of fire, so we don't have actual flame. So you need to create flame by using that ferro rod, using that heat, oxygen, and fuel to create your flame, and then you move forward from there. With the match, on the other hand, when I strike this thing, okay, I immediately have flame. I created the triangle of fire. All your job is then is to shepherd that flame into something larger. So you skip a step, all right, in an emergency of trying to create the triangle of fire. You have fire, you're just growing it now. So that helps a lot of people. But what I think helps more with matches is the fact that it gives people a shimmer of hope, all right, if they're struggling with something. When you light a match and you actually see that flame, you know in your heart, hey, I have the ability here to get fire. When you're just striking a ferro rod over and over and over again into something, okay, and it's not flaming up, You start over time to get doubt in your mind. So in a survival situation or emergency situation, that can be very devastating for people to keep sitting there striking, thinking, I'm never going to get this. Where you light this match, you're like, I got fire. Now people have a lot more energy and enthusiasm to try to build that fire up. So you still need the training to build that fire up, but at least you have the fire to start. So good matches, make sure you're replacing that striker component, make sure you're holding the match up high, and having that flame source is going to give you a mental boost that is going to make you feel unstoppable. Despite all that, make sure you go out, you practice, and you train with these things, so if an emergency does occur, you are ready to go. So if you like this video, hit like and subscribe down below. You can also check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com for all our classes, our blog, and our merchandise. And until the next video, stay in the woods.